Hey, Arvin here. Today we're going to be drawing a car using the box and section method. So let's get started. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Driven to Draw. My name is Arvin. Today we're going to be drawing a Mazda two-door sports car. So I'm going to start this off with drawing it using some sections and then starting the foundational layout with just a box. So the first thing I'm going to do here is draw this rectangular shape here at the beginning, and I'm just going to dissect it in half, which is just drawing a couple of diagonal lines to the corners of the box. And then I'm going to identify that midpoint. So once I do the crisscross, I identify that midpoint, and then I draw a line in the center, and that gives me my center line of this particular box in perspective. Now, before I continue, if you enjoy this kind of content and you enjoy drawing, be sure to subscribe to this channel and give it a like. Alright, so now the next step here is I'm going to draw a couple lines here that are going to be receding back into the conversion point in two-point perspective. You won't see that on the page, of course, and I'm going to draw a couple of ellipses here. There's some more accurate methods. You know, I'm eyeballing it because I've been drawing ellipses for so long and I've done the construction method. I will probably lay this thing out in more detail in some further videos. So once I've got my front ellipse and then my rear ellipse, I'm going to start with adding a slight curvature here to the top. And then I'm going to define a little bit of my the bottom of the car, and I'm going to extend the center line here. These things can kind of get a little bit tricky, you know, when you're drawing cars, because you know, a lot of times when I say start with the box method, you basically draw very boxy cars. So now when you're trying to construct and sculpt these forms, it gets a little bit more complicated or maybe harder to understand. But the gist of it is for me to take the profile view of the car that I'm trying to draw, which is another Mazda Sport Coupe, which is just a two-door Mazda, like a Mazda 3. So I use those reference photographs and I just look at the side view, and now we're trying to translate that into these perspective lines. So I've got now my windshield shape. And I'm going to take that next curvature, which is the fleshing out the A-pillar and giving it some thickness, and I'll extend that to the back. And then I'm going to add another curve here to the bottom of the windshield. Now I'm going to extend the shape of the shoulder, the front shoulder of the vehicle. Now I've got my center line, and the car is going to have a little bit of a dip in the center. Mazda's had this really nice pointed hood in the front, and a large grille. So now from the center line section, I'm going to take it from the far outboard side, and I'm going to draw my curve, which is going to now establish the front shape of the car. So if you practice these sections, you know, drawing each section, the centerline section, and then going to the outboard side and using the same shapes, then it's going to help your brain kind of dissect and just ensure that you're modeling the same perspective or following the perspective guidelines here. Alright, now I'm just going to add a little bit of thickness here to the wheels. I'm going to add just a surface transition here at the bottom. Now, another thing I want to mention, I am drawing in a gray marker, so you don't have to go in and draw with a pen. I do draw in pen, but when you are constructing your drawing, it is always better to start with like a 30 or 40% gray marker, because if there are mistakes, you can go back and correct it, and then when you start to darken your lines, you'll be able to reference the corrected markup, or the correction that you've made, and then make those lines darker. It is a little bit of a trick that's been used, because once you darken up the lines, then you won't see the grays. It won't be as pronounced, and they just add a kind of cool effect. It's just there in the background. And I would also encourage you just to continue to explore this method and just keep drawing it with a gray marker, because this is all you need as in terms of practicing. You don't need to use pencils or pens or anything like that. Use the gray markers to just set things up, and then once you're done with one, take out another sheet and practice it again. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this made a lot of sense. I will be doing more videos like this, and we'll see you next time. Driven to Draw. Have a good one. Do 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 do.